In a quiet glade where sunlight filtered through the leaves and danced upon the forest floor, an ancient oak tree stood tall and proud. Its gnarled branches stretched wide, a testament to years of standing firm against the elements. The oak's bark was thick and rugged, a fortress against storms that howled and winds that whipped through its limbs. It had weathered countless seasons, its roots digging deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly in place. The oak was the epitome of strength, a symbol of endurance and resilience. In stark contrast, at the edge of the glade, a slender reed swayed gently in the breeze. It was delicate and flexible, bending gracefully with every gust of wind, yet somehow its movement seemed effortless, almost joyful. The reed thrived in the marshy soil, its roots shallow but wide, spreading out to grasp the moisture that nourished it. Where the oak stood immovable, the reed danced, adapting to the rhythm of nature around it. One day, a fierce storm rolled into the glade, dark clouds swirling ominously overhead. The oak tree braced itself, its branches creaking under the strain of the wind. It had faced storms before, and it believed that its strength would see it through once more. The rain fell in torrents, and the wind howled like a wild beast, lashing against the oak's sturdy trunk. The oak stood resolute, steadfast in its conviction that it would not bend or break. Meanwhile, the reed was tossed about, bending low to the ground, its slender form almost disappearing into the marsh. As the storm raged on, the reed whispered to the oak, "Why do you not bend with the wind? You will surely break if you refuse to yield." The oak, unwavering, replied, "I am strong. I have withstood many storms. I will not let this one defeat me." The reed smiled softly, a glimmer of understanding in its eyes. Strength is not merely in standing tall, dear oak. It is also in knowing when to bend and adapt. The wind may be fierce, but it will pass. If you resist too hard, you may find yourself uprooted. The oak scoffed at the reed's words, confident in its own might. "I have stood for centuries, while you are but a fleeting whisper in the grass. I will not yield." As the storm intensified, the oak's branches began to strain against the relentless wind. The reed, on the other hand, continued to sway and bend, its body yielding gracefully to the force that sought to uproot it. The storm raged on, and the oak felt the pressure mounting. It was an unyielding force, a battle between nature's fury and its own determination. In the midst of the tempest, the oak's roots began to loosen, the soil around them eroding under the pounding rain. The oak realized too late that its strength, while formidable, could not withstand the unrelenting force of the storm. It felt the first crack in its trunk, a sharp pain that echoed through its very core. Panic surged through the oak as it realized that its steadfastness was becoming its downfall. The reed, still bending and swaying, called out to the oak, "Yield, my friend. Let the wind pass over you. You must adapt to survive." But the oak, filled with pride and defiance, could not bring itself to bend. It was a symbol of strength, after all. It had always been the protector, the guardian of the glade. To yield felt like a betrayal of its very essence. The storm howled louder, and the oak felt another crack, deeper this time, splintering through its bark. With one final ferocious gust, the oak's trunk could no longer withstand the pressure. It splintered, a sound like thunder echoing through the glade. The mighty oak, once a towering figure of strength, fell to the ground with a resounding crash, its branches strewn across the forest floor. The storm moved on, leaving the glade in silence, save for the gentle rustling of the reed, which continued to sway in the aftermath, unscathed. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting golden rays upon the fallen oak, the reed stood beside the remnants of its once mighty neighbor. It felt a deep sorrow for the oak, for it had admired its grandeur and strength. Yet it also understood the lesson that the storm had imparted. True strength was not solely about standing firm. It was about the ability to adapt, to bend with the winds of change, and to thrive even in the face of adversity. In the days that followed, the oak's trunk began to decay, becoming part of the forest floor, nourishing the soil with its rich nutrients. The reed flourished in the sunlight that now poured into the glade, its roots spreading deeper into the earth, drawing strength from the very essence of the oak that had once towered above it. The reed had learned to embrace the changes around it, to adapt to the shifting seasons and the whims of the weather. As seasons turned and years passed, the glade transformed. New life sprang from the oak's fallen form. Saplings began to rise, and the reed continued to thrive, a symbol of resilience and adaptability. The oak, though fallen, had not disappeared. It had become part of the cycle of life, a reminder that true strength lies not in resisting change, but in embracing it. In the heart of the glade, the reed stood tall, not in stature, but in spirit, embodying the lesson learned from the oak. It whispered to the winds, a story of strength and adaptability, of how true power is rooted in the capacity to adjust and thrive amidst the ever-changing tapestry of life. The oak had taught the reed that while the storms may come and go, it is the ability to bend, to yield, and to grow that ultimately defines the strength of the spirit.